said it last week. I've got to interrupt you because you said, what did you say? Jim Harbaugh's got it teed up, boy. We were leaving the stadium last week, and this is what you saw. It was like a dump truck.
Well, you know, we talked about, on one of our famous ride-along videos earlier today, Dave, we talked about the fact that if Michigan got the chance to step on their throat, they would, but we kind of felt like maybe Penn State would put up enough of a fight to avoid that from happening.
And there were plays that could have gone their way where they might have, you know.
And they did not score in the first half, which is a recipe for disaster against this team, this defense, and this environment. And, you know, Dave, the offense in the Big Ten East in the 3 games that mattered, they scored 50 total points. They scored 26 against Ohio State at home. They scored 17 against Michigan State at home. And they had to avert a shutout late here. 50 points against the 3 best teams in their division. And that's really the defining, I think, quality of this season.
They just don't have any chemistry going on in the passing game. I think you'd agree with that. It looks like McSorley still doesn't trust guys in the receiving corps. But today, there were how many more drops? There were at least 2 drops and a third that was a deflection interception that easily could have been caught and would have been caught in prior years. And what Trace McSorley can't say is that frustrates him as much as the bad plays that he made today, and he didn't have a good game.
He did not have a good game. You know, their 3 best players in the game last year, they won 42-13 against Michigan, were Saquon Barkley, Deshaun Hamilton, and Trace McSorley. There's only one still around, and they really, really miss those 2 guys. Juwan Johnson didn't make the trip. KJ Hamler is a marvelous talent, but he is not a lead receiver. He is a complementary piece who can be a game changer in the right situations.
He's almost like a gadget guy.
The receivers caught 3 passes today.
They don't have a go-to. They don't have a go-to receiver.
When Pat Freiermuth is your best receiver, you got to look in the mirror and wonder about maybe how the rest of this season's going to go. But they're just not a very good offense, and the offensive line got pushed around.
On the other hand, I mean, we give Trace a lot of leeway because he's had great games.
Correct.
Maybe the two biggest plays in this game were the fumble on the exchange, which he blamed himself for, that he was undecided when he pulled it out for Miles Sanders, and the throw to DeAndre Tompkins that he just missed.
You cannot miss DeAndre Tompkins. There was actually a third play early in the game where he had the run on 3rd and 10 to get the first down, and he slid too soon, and Penn State had to punt. I mean, if he gets the first down there, they keep the ball a little bit. You don't know what's going to happen. You need your best player to play his best game in this situation. Shea Patterson was the better quarterback today, and I know that Trace is not healthy, but you can't win when Trace is playing at this kind of level.
Which I just thought defied any rational explanation. We asked James Franklin about it, and we had to look at our notes and say, what did he say after we got done? Because it still didn't really make a lot of sense as far as back and forth. If you just take Trace out at some point and say, okay, you're done. This could be getting ugly. I don't want you to get hurt anymore. Right. You're not 100%. I can see that. That's it. But we get Stevens throwing an interception, so you bring Trace in because you didn't like the interception. Mm-hmm. That's what James said. I don't think that's a good reason. Then you bring I almost lost track. I mean, we had to write them all down.
There was 7 quarterback changes in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, and then you bring Stevens in because Trace is in the tent because he got hurt running. Why was he in the first place? Why was he in the first place? Then you bring Trace back in a second time, a third time overall. There's no rationalizing it. I mean, I think as a coach, you have to be firm. You have to have an idea in your head what you want to do, because that transcends or that transmits to the team. And if you don't, everyone's like, what's our anchor? Where are we here?
So if you had to rank James Franklin's strengths as a coach, game management is not a strength. It's not, and I'll tell you why. Do you remember in 2015, the season opener, when Temple sacked Christian Hackenberg 10 times, and he kept Hackenberg in at the end of that game to take a beating, and it was a lost cause. We asked him about it. He really didn't have a good explanation for it. He just kept getting hit and hit and hit. It didn't make any sense then. This doesn't make any sense now. I don't really expect to get a great answer from James Franklin about what happened out here, because I don't think he was sure what he was doing as he was doing it.
Yeah, for what it's worth, we asked Trace McSorley about it too, and Tommy Stevens, and of course they spewed the party line, which
Sure.
they have to do. They didn't have anything substantive to say on that. That's on James Franklin. He did say that if he had it to do over, he would have made the move earlier, the move to Stevens. Well,
Yeah.
if you make it earlier, are you going to make the musical chairs earlier
Once
too?
once you make the decision to put Tommy in the
That's
game,
it.
he stays in the game.
That's it.
And
And whatever happens, if he gets hurt, then Clifford comes in, not Trace.
anything else, I think, is just an excuse. I think he mismanaged it, and it's not the first time.
This is much worse to me than any of the time management issues.
Yeah.
Because this means the man himself he doesn't have clarity in his own thought about what to do in certain situations. And this was a clear situation. That game was getting out of hand. And it only got more out of hand. And nothing good could have come from Trace McSorley being in that game.
And I would have to say that Michigan is a very unusual team in that it's a good team that is very good at a couple of things, but big picture, I just don't know if this team can do enough on the national stage.
No.
Outside of the Big Ten to really make a case to be.
I got a lot of blowback from a column I wrote about how Franklin, through his recruiting, and I think he will keep recruiting because that is his strength.
Right.
He's going to get players. You talk about game management. Les Miles was a national champion. All right.
I like that.
Well, it's true.
I like that.
It's true.
Yeah.
And it's all about the players. It's all about the Jimmies and Joes. I got a lot of blowback from Michigan homeboys who were talking to fanboys who were talking about we've really developed this offense. No, you haven't. It's still Bo Schembechler. And that ain't gonna fly against Alabama or whoever they're gonna play. It might be 19-3, it might be 35-3, but it's gonna be 3 against any team like that.
Yeah, if you do not want, we've talked about it. You can't get behind this Michigan team. If you do, it's unleash the hounds, man.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
And they
I know
did.
it was only
It did.
14-0 late in the third quarter, but it never really felt like Penn State was going to close the gap once that Trace missed.
No, they were
Tompkins
trying to
down the-
keep.
that
They were
was the
trying
one-
to keep it at
To me, that was the
21-0.
turning point in the
Yeah.
game. When he didn't hit
So-
him there, they were in a big trouble.
So it is a mixed bag. While we're saying that this game was never going to be I don't think anyone thought it was going to be a Penn State win. We
Right.
probably picked it closer than we should have. I picked it 8. What did you pick it? 3? I can't remember.
Sandbagging something. No, I picked it 27-17, and I'm feeling bad
Oh,
about
10.
it.
Yeah.
I feel bad. I don't think they could have scored 17 in 12 quarters.
No, I feel real like an idiot for picking that. But anyway, it's not as bad as it will be in the big picture because next year is a different year. And I still think Michigan is pointed toward a limited ceiling while Penn State is pointed toward a higher ceiling. Would you agree with that or not?
Time will tell. Time will tell.
Right.
I don't know. All I know is 2 trips here the last 2 years, the combined score has been 91-17, and I think we should wrap on that note.
All right. Until Beaver Stadium on Saturday against Wisconsin, sayonara.